So I just heard that, and I learned that Gen G got their 2-loss streak for the first time in 5 years, and that's just how strong
What?
they are. So we just cannot let our guard down. We have to prepare as hard as we can.
We lost 2 series in a row for the first time in 5 years.
Because of the double 3-game
How
series,
mental
a lot of your
is
fans
that?
need to catch.
You've never won 2 times in a row in your career. Yes, I did. I did. What have you won? I won a few trophies. I just mostly the trophies I won were tier 2 trophies. I won a lot of Spanish lands, a few French lands. I won a UK land twice. I won a few online tournaments. I never won in tier 1. I guess the best way to describe my career, and I don't want to sound like cocky about it, but I do think that I was like the peak of tier 2, kind of fathering it. Not fathering it, but like, you know, it was, I don't know, every time I went to tier 1 it just never worked though. Tier 2 Tommy. Let's go through it, fuck it. We can go through it. 2015, my first debut, LVP. LVP this is like the Spanish league. It's a LAN event. This was the first LAN event I ever went to. It was in Madrid. And it was in front of quite a lot of people. I'd never been to a LAN event in my life. There was thousands of people. And there was teams like Giants and OG and these teams that were pretty established. Our team didn't even have a logo. It was just me and some homies. And we just like fisted the entire tournament. Our team was called Experience. It was completely random and it was just joined the league. And we just blasted everyone. So I won my first Gamer G, it's called. Then we went into the regular split and Giants picked me up. I'll go through my career. So this Giants team, they watched us stomp the league and then they thought, okay, let's sign him. So I signed to them for 300 euros a month. And then we went 3rd to 4th in the regular season. But then we went to Gamer G again and we won Gamer G. So back in that LAN event in Madrid, same tournament. We lost in groups, I remember. We lost the best of 1 in groups and I thought this was full chopped. But we won the lower bracket. And then we won the whole tournament in the knockout stage. We 2-0'd and then we 3-1'd. Then I did the EUCS qualifiers with Alfari and it didn't work out. It didn't really work out as well as we wanted it to. So then I just went around and did some LANs with the boys. We went to Lion Esport, which was a big LAN event. This is where I've met Caps for the first time. Lion Esport 2016. You'll see some names in some of these teams and you'll probably get fucking throwback moments. Against All Authority was there. Kote. Millennium was there with Hansama when he was like 16 at the time. Caps was on the team called the Glorious Team. And we came second. Because the reason we came second was because this Millennium team was unwinnable. You couldn't beat them. It was impossible. It was impossible to beat this Millennium team. They were stomping everything. So we lost to them 3-0 final. I left Renegades and I got a call from Wicked. Wicked called me up and was like, bro, we are in this team. It's called Copenhagen Wolves. And our mid laner can't play in the EU Challenger Series playoffs. Can you sub in? So I looked at the spring season standings of their team, and they just made playoffs. They were 4th. And the way the seeding worked was that they were the 4th place team would play against the 1st place team, and Millennium was 12-0 in game score. They were 8-2, but they were completely fisting. This was the team that I lost against with my team with Alfari. They called me up and said, "Yo, we have to play in the playoffs. Round 1 is against Millennium though, so it might not be long." So I said, okay, fuck it, let's go. And then we fucking 3-0'd them. We just giga-stomped them into the ground. I was so surprised. And that's when I remember being in a hotel room with Hansama after the series, and he was like drawing manga, like not sure if he wants to continue with League. And I was like, bro, you gotta keep fucking going. And then we went on to the next round against Huma, who was dog shit. They were fucking ass. Maybe you'll remember one of their players, Hi, it's Rudy. And we got reverse swept, which was fucking sad, because we started trolling. So that sucked. That pissed me off. And then we lost 5-game series to Giants, their main team, with like Pepinero, where if we won this series, we'd qualify to the LCS. So I got fucking depressed. 2 chances I had to qualify to the LCS. 2 chances. And I came second in both. So then I thought, I'll go back and call up Alfari and shit in the boys, see what's up. And then we played the regular season in the ESL UK League, and we were just trolling. Like, I'm not even kidding when I say we were literally trolling. Like, me and Alfari were just playing the game and refusing to swap champs with each other. Like, I would take Ari and he would take Lucian, and then we'd swap last second and he would play Ari top and shit, and it was funny. But, like, the ESL UK scene was so, like, there was one team that was good in the ESL UK. It was Manolite, and it had Larson on it. And this was the only team that could maybe beat us, but we just blasted the whole tournament. We kind of blasted the UK League, which was kind of unfair. And then the team Huma, that Huma team that I got reverse swept by, they called me up and said, "Yo, can you join our team for EUCS?" So EUCS is EU Challenger Series. Okay, Challenger Series worked where if you finished top 4, you played in the playoffs like I did with that Copenhagen Wolves team, and if you finished top 2. Then you play against the bottom 2 from the LCS, and the winners go to LCS. It was relegation promotion. This was how you progressed as a tier 2 player. You went into the EUCS. So I went to the EUCS. I don't remember what the CS was this year, but it was not bad. I was against Alfari now. The Misfits, the Renegades team that I was with Alfari on rebranded to Misfits and got Hansama. But some of these teams were pretty stacked. There was like Millennium with Tabs. There was Team Forge with Jizuke and imported AD Carry in top lane. There was Nerve, which had Caps and Upset on it, and Memento and Wicked. These were the starters. This is when Caps and Upset, I think they both just turned 16 or 17, I can't remember what it was, and they could play in the CS. Hansama, Ignar, Selfie, Wisdom, Alfari. Like, this is Challenger Series, bro. This is fucking stacked. We finished 2nd place, which is not bad. We finished 2nd place. But there was some internal things going on in the team, which was kind of cringe. There was like a lot of drama in our team. So when we went into the playoffs, we lost in the first round to Millennium again. And then Misfits won it, obviously, with that roster. So then I went and just played in some random UK lands. The thing is, like, when you were a pro player back then, you kind of jumped teams a lot. You didn't just sit there and play regular seasons. Like, okay, we tried our hardest with Huma to make the CS, to win, to qualify to LCS. We lost. It's summer. Okay, now I've got nothing to do for 6 months. So it's like September and October and I just sign up to random UK events. I mean, you can see some of the names of my teammates back in the days. That wasn't his name before, I swear. I don't even know who the fuck that is. But I don't know. I don't even know why it says that. But it was like, bro, this is 10 years ago, okay? I was starting. We went 7-0 in the tournament. And then because I was broke, obviously, I roll swapped to AD Carry. And the reason I roll swapped to AD Carry is because a team called Baskonia, which was like a really famous Spanish team, they called me up like, "Yo, do you want to come back to Spain and play AD Carry?" I was like, "F it, go on then, why not?" And I needed money really badly. So I played AD Carry in Pro for 1 split and came 6th, and I just fucking left. I said, "F this, I'm never playing AD Carry again. This was boring as shit." I played like Ezreal Jhin every game. But I got like a couple €1,000 out of it, so this was pretty good to keep going. Anyway, then I went back to UK events, visited some UK events. And then it was December I played my UK event, and I had nothing to do for spring 2017. I went to Korea. So this is where I went to Korea. I went to Korea in January 2017. And I came back from Korea in March 2017, and I hit rank 9 on the ladder in Korea. So there was a little bit of hype around me, old Caedrel. Everyone was like, "Oh my god." Well, not that much hype, you know. So then my friend, Pinoy, who I played with on Huma, his name was Chrislund then, he just name changed. He called me up, he's like, "Yo, I've got an idea. You just came back from Korea and you're pretty good. If I can find a sponsor to pay for us to fly to NA and live in Low Pally's house, and we go through the qualifiers to the open qualifiers to the Challenger Series and we win, we can get to the Challenger Series and sell the spot for 100k and we can split it." I was like, holy shit. That sounds fucking crazy. That's 20k each. We rock up to Low Pally's house and I'm ordering fucking Jack in the Box every day for breakfast, lunch and dinner. I'm eating Jack in the Box on cooldown. I've never been to NA. All of these delivery drivers are flaming me for not tipping them. It was so weird. We played in this NACS Open Qualifier, and it was actually pretty fucking easy. We were stomping everything. We were literally stomping everything. Alex Sich was playing, and we played against their team, and we just smashed them. We were owning people. This was free as fuck. The plan was working. The plan was working, and we were in the semifinals, okay? We were in the semifinals, and we had to go up against a team called CLG Black, which I don't remember who that roster was. Fallen Bandit, Omar, God, Tuesday, Zag, Phil. The problem is, the day before, or 2 days before our game in the semifinals, where this whole tournament is fucking free, Tarzan is scrimming with us, and he rage quits the team because I didn't move to his Krugs, and he got invaded on and died. He told us all to, like, fuck off and die. He left the Skype group and said, fuck this, I'm out. When we're literally in the semifinals, and then we had 1 day to find a replacement, and Lopali tells me, oh, there's a guy called Nintendo X. He can be the jungler replacement. I said, okay. And, like, no offense to Nintendo X, he was really awesome. He was a nice guy, super awesome. But he hadn't played pro in a while, and I looked at his OPGG, and it was a D2 Elise one trick. And I thought, oh my god, we're cooked. So then we lost. So we were 2 rounds away. Actually, I think you qualify by just being in the finals. We were 1 series away from making it to CS and everyone getting $20,000 by just selling the spot. And he rage quits the team 2 days before. And that's the only interaction I ever had with Tarzan. Anyway, spring was a failure. The NA run didn't work out. But then for summer split, I got called up by a veteran. And he was like, yo, do you want to join Schalke? I was like, yeah, sure. They were in the Challenger Series. Again, I get another shot, right? Summer 2016, I got my shot to make LCS. I failed. I came third, fourth, even though we finished second. Spring 2016, I tried to make it. Reverse swept. Like, okay, 2017, this is the year I'll make it. I'll make it into LCS for sure. So Schalke calls me up. The roster is Smitty J, Memento, Upset, Norscaren. I think, f*** it. It was so fun. This team was awesome. We just missed out on first place, but it doesn't matter. We made top 4 easy. And the rosters in this Challenger Series were absolutely stacked. I feel like this was one of the most stacked Challenger Series to date. You had our team, which was Schalke. Then you had Giants Gaming with Ruin, Gilius, Jizuke, Minitroopax, Jack Troll, which went to Worlds that year, or the year after for Vitality. Then you had T1 Thal, Flash Wolves Mujin, Magic Felix, Sejong Singh, White Knight, Sartorius, Kirei when they were like giga peaking, with Blank from mid lane who just came off the fucking Jin Air, and Noxiac who just came back from Fnatic. Then you had like this hype Wind and Rain roster with Larson and shit, and Woolite who was just in the LCS, and Dan. And then you had Origin who wants to get back into the LCS with Dan and Neon. And this was a fucking cool Challenger Series. This was Team Red Bull as well that they set up to get into the LCS. This was Red Bull's chance of getting in the LCS, which is quite funny. Because if you actually go to the playoffs, we fucking knocked the Red Bull out 3-1. That was a really fun series in the playoffs. We 3-1'd our opponent and Giants beat their opponent. We had to play against Giants. Then, obviously, if you finish top 2 in the summer playoffs, or in the playoffs, you go into the promotion tournament. So I'm in my fucking 3rd promotion tournament. And the rosters are Giants, Mysterious Monkeys, Ninjas in Pajamas with Nagne, and us. That's the qualifier for... It's a double elim, best of 5, top 2 goes to LCS. So we start round 1 against MM, Mysterious Monkeys, and we beat them. 5-game series. They were actually a fucking annoying team to play against, because they were just really experienced. And then we moved on to the next round to play against Giants, and we lost 3-2. And I'll never forget this game, because the LCS spot, I think at the time, was worth like, I don't know what it was, like $5 million, $10 million. And in game 5, Memento made a call to go Drake instead of do something else. And we all went Drake and everyone died. And we were all so tilted in game 5 because we just threw the whole game. And then we called it the $10 million Drake. I'll never forget that. Oh my god, look at me in Jizuke. That's crazy. Okay, here it is. They get Nash. And we get loads of kills. And like, we're playing Corki Jin with Tam Kench and Jace. We're like a poke comp. They have Baron, sure. And then, like, I'm top lane, pushing top. And Memento's like, no, 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 we should fight the Drake. Come, 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 trust me, trust me, trust me, it's a good Drake fight. Trust me, we're gonna win the Drake. Come, everyone, come to Drake, everyone. Drake, come on, Drake, 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 everyone. Come on, come, 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 come. We can fight this, I swear. Me and Upset have no flashes. We've no flashes, neither of us. And we're like, whoa, 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 are you sure about this? Like, I don't know if, this is crazy to go for. So then we get the Drake, and then he go, 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 go. I'm like, oh my god. Me and Upset are just sitting there like, and then we all die. And then they get bottom up, and then the game's just full shot. And I'm not trying to flame Memento, I'm not trying to blame or anything. It's a joke we had after the series. We had a joke that this was the $10 million Drake. And then we got knocked to the lower bracket where we played against NIP, and oh my god, did we fist the out of that team. And then we knocked them out the LEC. Nagne is coaching for T1 now, which is quite weird. I saw him in the T1 building. During MSI. It's so weird how time goes. We just like walked past each other. But this time, like 8 years ago, we competed for an LCS spot. Anyway, so I qualified the LCS. Schalke kicks me. They kick everyone. All of us were gone, except for Upset. They're gonna rebuild their whole roster. I get kicked. Schalke rebrands to Vizicachi, Pride, Nuktak, and get Vander. So I join H2K, and I'm a mid laner. And the roster is Smitty J from Schalke, Santorin, me, Sheriff, which is Patrick, and Promiscu. I join H2K, and the first 2 weeks we get fisted. I played for 3 weeks. I think I went 1-4 or something, and I was a mid laner. And at this point in my life, some shit was going bad. Everything was kind of going apart personally, and I lost all my confidence. And I told Veteran, yo, I'm done. I'm done. I'm done. I'm gonna go home. I can't do it. So they signed Selfie, which was good. And then Selfie played. So I went home. And then I said, you know what? I'm gonna roll swap the jungle. Fuck it. So 2 weeks later, when I got home, I just went to jungle. And then I called up Larson, and I was like, yo, I need to get good at jungle quick. I need to get good at jungle very fast. So I started playing in I went back to the UK scene. I played in some tournaments. I joined the team that was struggling, tried to help them win a few things, and it wasn't going very well. The role swap wasn't going very well. Until EMEA Masters 2018, where Ninjas in Pajamas reached out to Larson. I don't know if it's because he was Swedish and they were homies or something. Oh yeah, during that H2K period, I cancelled it. Okay, I hope you're happy. That was the cancel. Larson, NIP called him up and they're like, yo, we have this EU Masters spot and we don't know why. I don't even know how they have this EU Masters spot, but they had a spot at EU Masters for some reason, but they didn't even have a league team. I think it's because they got knocked out the LCS by me and then they just got given an EU Masters spot or some shit. They didn't have a roster. So he called up Larson being like, can you make a roster? So the roster ended up being Finn, me, Larson, Smiley, and Hustlin' Beast. And I thought, like, bro, this is going to be such a train wreck. It's going to be so funny. And there was a game that we kind of low-key win traded in this tournament. I'll say it. Because the seeding was so dog shit that if we won our game, we would play against a harder team. If we lost our game, we'd play against an easier team in the knockouts. So we just picked dog shit champs and we just ran around and we lost. Sucks. The format was terrible and it gave us a way better quarterfinals matchup. Instead now, when we went into the knockouts, we played against the Penguins Mafia, which was a complete free win. And if we won that series, we'd play against IHG, which was completely stacked. So we went to the opposite side of the bracket. Anyway, that UMass was pretty fun. We lost in the quarterfinals, but we got drawn against Origin, who basically beat everyone. And the reason they beat everyone, I'm sure you can guess, is because they just got Expect from G2, Insec from China, Froggen, Forgiven, and Jezis. That's quite imbalanced, if you ask me, to have in an EU Masters. But it is what it is. They were fucking blasting. You might recognize some familiar names in this EU Masters. So yeah, this Illuminar Gaming was pretty stacked. Ice Beasto, Kikis, Sebex, Woolite. The hell no, we ain't playing versus that. There's Tolkien, Carzy. Yeah, it was pretty tricky. That went pretty well though, I think. And then I got called up by LDLC to play in some French lands. It didn't really work out too well, but I got rank 1 around this time on the ladder. So I got rank 1, and that was pretty good. And then it says 10th here, but I didn't finish 10th. They were 10th in summer, and they were 0 and 14. And they called me up, and they said, "Yo, Sally, I think it was season 8. Was it season 8? Summer. I played 8 games, okay, in the LCS. And I have reason to explain why I lost a lot of those 8 games, okay? And you might think, lol, 25% win rate. I went on stage with 1 week of scrims, and the mid laner said I'm leaving, so he left. So I had to play the first weekend with Shook mid lane, who's a jungler, okay? So the jungler had to go mid for the first week. So that was rough. So we played double jungle. So this was just 3-2 lose games. Then Larson had to sub in, and we were against some pretty good teams, so that was hard. Even though I think we did pretty well in these games. In these games, we did pretty well, but we were against the top teams, so we lost those 2. And then my AD carry had to leave, so Shook came back, and he played AD carry as a jungler, and we almost beat the first place team. So, like, when HUK called me up when they had this dog shit score, I was like, okay, nice, I'll get some LCS games under my belt. And then people just kept leaving, and the person I replaced kept coming back to the house to play different roles. And I was sitting here like, what the fuck am I doing? I got so mad. I was like, bro, how am I supposed to, like, prove myself when I'm playing with off roles every game? And then finally, we had one weekend where we had main roles. We got stomped one game, but then we won the last game of the split. We won the last game of the split against Schalke, who was first place. Well, I guess things come together, right? Things come full circle. I beat the team who was first place, and this is where they went on to Athens summer finals against fucking Fnatic or some shit. And then I had my LEC arc, where we all know how that ended. And then I went to the LEC for spring, summer. And then I broke the record for highest win rate for not making playoffs. And then I broke the record for highest win rate not making playoffs again. And then I didn't make playoffs again. I will say here I had like an 85. This was 96. And this was like a 93 or some shit. And all of them failed. Absolute horror show. And here is the LR arc. That's my career. There you go. That's my entire career. 2015 to 2020. I would say 2015 to 2020. 2015, 2016, 2017, 18, 19, 20. 6 years of pro play. Trust me, bro. Whatever career you do, you're gonna get unlucky as fuck. Shit's not gonna work out. I thought I was really good. I thought things would work out. I joined projects thinking they would work. They didn't. Things outside of my control went wrong. Things with myself went wrong. It didn't work out. And now, fast forward 6 years, and somehow we're the top 3 biggest Twitch streamer on Twitch in the world. So no matter how things go, no matter what you think's working and not working, bro, just put your head down and it'll work out. It'll work out. Because when I lost here as well, I thought it's over. I lost on summer 2020. I had an offer from Astralis and SK Gaming. And I had an offer from Golden Guardians. I thought, bro, I'm fucking out. I'm done. When did you start streaming? I started streaming like in XL. So probably like here. I would say I started streaming in like 2019, I would say. Very little. Oh yeah, then I went into casting. There's a gap here. After this, I went into casting I cast 2020 Worlds. 2021, we did everything. 2022, we did everything in Worlds Finals. 2023 was when I started co-streaming MSI and Worlds, but I was still a caster. And 24, I retired from casting and became full-time streamer. 25, full-time streamer. 26, full-time streamer. But I cast for about 3 to 4 years and did like Euphoria and Analyst Desk. And my weekends were like 8 a.m. wake up, LCK till about 2 p.m. Taxi to the studio, cast LEC till about 9 p.m. Go home, sleep 10 p.m. Wake up Sunday. The weekends were I think that was easier than the weekends now, because the weekends now are 12 hours still, but it's just sitting here streaming. Whereas there, it's like a lot of, you know what I mean? It's like a lot of movement. How much did you win as a pro player? I think I won about 30k. In Schalke, I made 5k a month. In XL, I made 120k a year. I think for 2 years I was on 120 in XL, and then Schalke was 5k. Those were the two biggest paying teams by far. Everything else, like, I think HUK was fine as well, but I wasn't there for long. LDLC, I think, was like 3k a month. NIP didn't pay us, I think. This was like 1.5k a month. Baskonia was like 1k a month. Huma was like 2k a month. Renegades, I don't remember. Copenhagen Wolves paid me 700 euros to play the whole Challenger Series with them. Giants Underdogs paid me 300 euros a month, and they gave me some mouse pads. Not even kidding. They gave me my first ever like gamer gear. They gave me Razer headset, keyboard, mouse, fucking all that stuff. Do you ever want to go pro again? Bro, speaking to Double Lifted MSI about how like this pro itch always hits you. Yes, I want to go pro again. Yes, I would love to. But I'm just not good enough anymore, man. I don't think I'm good enough. I don't think I'm good enough. I think I would be a good coach. But I think that streaming is too important, and doing streaming and coaching is just not doable. It just drives you crazy. I think that the thing I appreciated a lot, the one thing that I really liked about my career was I competed in an era of open qualifiers and a lot of third-party tournaments. And for me, that was like one of the most fun things about being a pro. Like 1 month, I'm playing in Lyon in France. The next month I was in Spain. A couple months later I'm playing in this like massive PGL online tournament, which was massive. I don't remember what the prize pool was. I think the prize pool for this was huge. Yeah, 16k. It was mental. And then like there's like random UK lands, and I'm just like traveling to Birmingham to play in and shit. And then like the big part of my year happens every year, you know? Like the Challenger Series playoffs, the Challenger Series playoffs, the Challenger Series playoffs, the Challenger Series qualifiers. Like there's like a goal. You know what I mean? It's not like play your regular split, win the title, go home. Play your regular split, go. It's like I'm playing lands, getting better, meeting people. A lot of my teams I got were because people knew me or I knew them. And then it's like, all right, Challenger Series is coming up. Let's make a team. Okay, this is what everyone did. Everyone was like, Challenger Series is coming up. Let's make a team. Challenger Series, let's make a team. And everyone was like these guys, Sartorius, Kirei, Koskyu. Those guys just stayed together for like 5 years. They were homies, and every time it came to making a team for a tournament, it was always Sartorius, Koskyu, and fucking Kirei. Those guys were always together. And the final part of the story actually involves caps. There was a team. Fuck, man, I remember this so well. I could have played at Worlds. Caps was on a team called Dark Passage, okay? And in 2016, Caps on Dark Passage, they won the TCL. I don't know where the fuck it is. Is it 2016? They won the TCL Summer Playoffs, and Dark Passage qualified to Worlds, okay? You'll see here, IWCQ, that's International Wildcard Qualifier for Worlds. Caps isn't there. Now, the reason Caps isn't there is because Caps was too young. He was too young. And Xerxes was also too young. Both of them were too young to play at Worlds. And so, Dark Passage reached out to some European players to sub in. They needed a new mid-jungle. And they reached out to Kirei. And they said, Kirei, we need you to come play for us. Can you choose a mid laner? And I was the other option. It was me or Koskyu. But because he always played with Koskyu in every tournament they went to, it was always Koskyu and fucking Kirei. He took Koskyu. And I was so sad, man. I was so sad. I could have played on a Dark Passage at the International Worlds Qualifier. That would have been baller as shit, and they lost in a 5-game series to INTZ. I said to him when he got back, I said, Kirei, I know we would have won that series. We would have won that. We would have won that series. I swear to God. And I think they would have gone to Worlds. So I was really upset at Kirei. And then I met Kirei again. Maybe he can tell you the story. I met Kirei again many years later at a French LAN. I met him at... I think I met him at one of these French LANs. There were so many French LANs. Oh my God. I think it was one of these two. And Talia got changed on the patch, and I'll never forget this. And I said to him, I said, bro, Talia jungle's broken. Talia jungle is so OP now. And he said, nah. And we were like having some drinks, and he was like making fun of me. He was like, Talia jungle, this guy's stupid. And I was like, bro, Talia jungle's gonna be good. And then 1 week later, Talia jungle, most OP champ on the patch. I'll never forget that. Oh yeah, I got one more story about how I got cooked. Final story. This is the final story. And this is a true story. I wish I still had the screenshots. They were on my old PC. I got invited. I'm going to tell the whole story now because there's no fucking more like bullshit. I got invited to a Skype group with Misfits Gaming. And this was... I don't remember which year it was. There was a roster for Misfits with Fabivin and Soaz on it. And I don't remember which year it was. Anyway, what year was that? Was that 2019? 2019. Yes! Oh my god! I just all came to me. So 2019... I just finished this LCS stint. I just got rank 1 in jungle. I think people are like pretty interested in me as a player. I had 2 teams I spoke to. The primary one I spoke to, the first one was Roccat, and the second, or was it Roccat? It was some other team. It was Misfits. Misfits was like my focus, and I got invited to a group. I was in a Skype group with their CEO, their head coach, and their GM. And they were saying like, yeah, Maxlor, he's gonna go to another team. I think Maxlor was gonna go to Schalke because Schalke was like rebuilding, and he was gonna go to Schalke. And they were talking to me about roster, like, yeah, we want to go all in. We want to get you, and we want to get Febivin probably, or we want to get Nuktak, or we want to get Soaz. Like, what are your opinions on these players, top laners? And I had like 2 weeks straight in this Skype group talking to them about rosters, who I would prefer to play with. And I really felt like, okay. And they started negotiating with me, and they were like discussing salaries and shit. And they were like, we'll fly you out on these dates. I was like, oh my god, I'm going to be in fucking Misfits. And it's December. Or like, no, it's like late November. And like 3 days pass. Guys, are you like, are you going to send the contract? Another 3 days pass. Guys, are you going to send the contract? And I think what happened was Maxlor's deal to go to Schalke fell through. And then they just flopped back to Maxlor. But they didn't tell me. And I was sitting there for like a week. Guys, hello, guys. And then after a week, they're like, yeah, we actually decided to stick with Maxlor for another year. Sorry about that. What do you mean sorry about that? It's the second week of December. LEC starts in fucking 4 weeks. What do you mean sorry? I'm cooked. Like, I'm fucking cooked. But luckily, God's gracious, like, I don't know what happened, came down from the ceiling and, like, blessed me. XL was not supposed to be in the LEC. They weren't. It was a team, I think, called North or some shit. There was another team who was supposed to be in the LEC. I don't remember who the fuck it was. It was like North, I think their name was. But they didn't put the funds up to buy the spot. And so Riot had to go with their second option or some shit, which was XL. Oh, it was Movistar Riders maybe. Someone was supposed to join the league, but they didn't put the funds up or some shit. So they didn't get in. And then the second option was XL. So the joining of the LEC for XL was delayed. It was delayed by weeks. They only knew that they were going to be in LEC like a couple weeks late because the team that was supposed to be said no. So then I'm getting a call mid-December. Yo. Or like really late, really early December or some shit. Yo, we need a roster now. Are you free? Yeah, I'm free. Yeah, I'm free. Bro, sign me up. And that's how I got in the LEC. And then I'll never forget that in 2019 summer we lost. In 2019 summer, we lost. Obviously, we came like 7th or 8th. I don't remember what the fuck it was. And then Splice called me and was like, yo, do you want to come to the Splice house and watch our scrims and give some feedback to Circe? I was like, fuck yeah. Splice was about to make Worlds in 2019. So I was like in the Splice house watching their scrims, giving feedback to Circe. And I thought, this is fucking cool as shit. And I remember walking past Vizichachi's PC and he's playing a fucking chess game and he's 2.2k elo. I was like, what the fuck is this? I just stood there behind him watching him. And then I went back in the next year, and in the 2020 off season, I was in the 2019 to 2020 off season, our team was fucking insane. We went like 28-2 in a scrim week or some shit, and I was like, holy fuck, it's my year. Turns out no one gives a fuck about winter scrims except for me, and I'm just sitting there sweating my ass off because I haven't played in fucking months, and everyone else is still a bit tired. So we finished the off season with like an 80% win rate in scrims. Fucking bullshit.
이제 저뿐만 아니라 다른 선수들도 세팅을 더 원하게
I think I'm moving out here like fucking prime owner or some shit. How did you start casting? Towards the end of the split in summer, there was a guy called Caedrel, and I kind of knew of him, and I knew him, and I messaged him, and I said, man, I think when this season ends, I think I want to go into casting. Would you be able to call me? I had a laptop in my room and a headset mic. Would you be able to call me on Discord, and we can cast some games together, like once or twice every weekend, or like on the off days, where the fuck it was, Monday, 1 or 2 games. Can we cast them? I'll cast from my laptop, and then you just tell me what I'm doing right and wrong. So I did that for about 4 weeks, and then he was like, oh, you're pretty good at casting. Let me call Quickshot. And I think he called Quickshot. And then Quickshot got me into EU Masters summer 2020 after our split ended. And I cast that with fucking Chronicler, funny enough. Me and Chronicler cast EU Masters. And at the time, Chronicler wasn't a color caster. He wasn't an analyst guy. He was like a Quickshot. He was like a shouty guy. So he was my casting partner. And I did summer 2020. And then in the off-season, Quickshot was like, bro, you want to join the LEC? And then I saw the story already, but I got giga lucky because I retired in 2020 pro. But because of COVID, they couldn't fly in any casters to Europe to cast Worlds in Europe. So I ended up doing a World semifinals when I'd only been like a caster / analyst for a month because they didn't have anyone. So that kind of, I got lucky in that sense where I just kicked the door down for Worlds analysis and shit. Oh my god, here it is. Oh my god. Bro, I have blonde hair. Oh my god. That's crazy. That's crazy. That's crazy. Oh my god. Do you think you changed a lot from then? I don't know. I think it's hard to tell whether you've changed. I think people around you can tell. I don't think I've changed much. Do you think competing now is better than before? I think it's better for money and for security, but it's worse for experiences and growth. I think you can get paid a decent salary, play in a league, and fucking sit there for 2 years. But back in the days, you would swap team every 3 weeks, play with new people. Those people would go to the LEC, they'd still remember you, they'd think you're good, and then they'd ask you to try out for their team. Like, it was, back in those days, you would be in Paris one day, Madrid a couple months later, playing online qualifiers. You'll play with different people all the time. So I would say no. I think you would, I think Value, you would have fucking loved pro play back in the days. It was so much fun. It was very stressful though. Oh my god, there was a month where you don't get paid and you have nothing to play for. And you're like wondering if your career's over. And then all of a sudden, like, you get this message on your league client. Some guy's like, bro, there's a tournament in fucking, I don't know, in Poland. And you're like, oh, holy shit, meaning again. Maybe people do remember me. So solo queue was so important. Because if you're high in solo queue, people will ask you to come to the LAN events. Do you get offers to coach after LR? Yeah, I got an offer to coach Vitality in 22 with Alfari Selfmade.
It only gets easier.
And I was interviewed for, or I got asked to interview for the G2 head coach role in 23. But I didn't pursue either. Oh, after LR.
One thing that I want to check and talk about though is all the roster shuffle.
After LR, no, I don't think anyone wants to ask me to coach. It doesn't make sense for me to coach. No.
Get their best.
If I had to stop streaming and coach,
yeah.
Do you want your other head?
Also, give me mine because I can't.
No.
Thank you.